National Electrical Code Article 406.9 addresses receptacles in bathrooms, specifically in dwelling units. According to 406.9 EON, receptacles are required within 3 feet of the outside edge of the sink basin. Furthermore, 406.9 Atwar states that receptacles must be at least 3 feet horizontally away from the outside edge of a bathtub or shower stall. Exception number 1 to this rule allows a receptacle installed on a countertop or on a shelf not more than 12 inches above the counter in the bathroom, and not within the areas specified in 406.9a to be installed at any location where a hairdryer can be conveniently connected. Exception number 2 states that where the receptacle is part of a luminaire or appliance installed on the countertop, it is permitted to be installed within the 3-foot distance from the outside edge of the sink basin and the 3-foot distance from the outside edge of the bathtub or shower stall. Based on the National Electrical Code, a receptacle can be installed at least 3 feet horizontally away from the outside edge of a bathtub or shower stall. If a receptacle is located at least 3 feet away from the tub, it would not be a code violation to install it at the end of the vanity next to the tub. However, it is important to verify the local electrical codes and regulations, as they may have stricter requirements or amendments to the National Electrical Code. It's always advisable to check with the local authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with specific requirements in your area. It is essential to understand the implications of 406.9 AON and 406.9 Atwar to ensure safe and compliant electrical installations in bathrooms. The 3-foot rule is in place to prevent electrical hazards in wet environments. The exceptions to this rule are carefully crafted to allow for practical installations while maintaining a reasonable level of safety. It's crucial to adhere to these regulations to protect individuals from electric shock hazards. Firstly, the 3-foot rule in 406.9 Atwar is a primary safety measure to prevent electrical shock in wet areas. Secondly, the exception for countertop receptacles addresses the need for convenient access to power for hairdryers and other small appliances. Thirdly, the exception for luminaires and appliances installed on the countertop recognizes that these items are often designed with safety in mind and may incorporate features that mitigate the risk of electrical shock. It is important to differentiate between the general rule and the exceptions to apply the code correctly. When installing a receptacle in a bathroom, consider the location of the sink, bathtub, and shower stall. Measure the distances to ensure that the receptacle complies with the 3-foot rule or falls within one of the exceptions. If the receptacle is installed on a countertop or shelf, make sure that it is not more than 12 inches above the counter. If the receptacle is part of a luminaire or appliance, verify that the installation complies with the applicable safety standards. If there is any doubt about compliance, consult with a qualified electrician or the local authority having jurisdiction. A thorough understanding of 406.9 and its exceptions will help to ensure safe and code-compliant electrical installations in bathrooms. The National Electrical Code provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations in various locations, including bathrooms. These guidelines are based on years of experience and research and are designed to minimize the risk of electrical hazards. Electrical codes are not merely suggestions, they are legally enforceable requirements. Failure to comply with electrical codes can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. Moreover, non-compliant installations can pose a significant risk to the safety of individuals and property. It's not about simply following the rules. It's about understanding the underlying principles and ensuring that electrical installations are safe and reliable. A responsible approach to electrical work is always recommended. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and industry practices. It is essential to stay up to date with the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and any local amendments. In addition to the National Electrical Code, many local jurisdictions have their own electrical codes and regulations. These local codes may be more stringent than the National Electrical Code and may address specific local conditions or concerns. Therefore, it's crucial to verify the local electrical codes and regulations before starting any electrical work. The local authority having jurisdiction is responsible for enforcing electrical codes and regulations. This authority may be a city, county, or state agency. The authority having jurisdiction typically has the power to inspect electrical installations, issue permits, and impose penalties for code violations. It's always a good idea to contact the local authority having jurisdiction before starting any electrical work to ensure compliance with applicable codes and regulations. Doing so helps avoid costly mistakes and delays and ensure the safety of the electrical installation. If the local authority having jurisdiction requires a permit for electrical work, be sure to obtain the necessary permits before starting the project. Permits typically involve submitting plans, paying fees, and undergoing inspections. The permit process helps ensure that electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. Electrical inspections are conducted by qualified inspectors who are trained to identify code violations and safety hazards. During an inspection, the inspector will examine the electrical installation to ensure that it meets the requirements of the applicable codes and regulations. If the inspector finds any code violations, they will issue a notice of violation and require the contractor or homeowner to correct the deficiencies. It's important to address any code violations promptly to avoid further penalties or legal action. It is also a matter of ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical installation. The National Electrical Code is a complex and comprehensive document. It is not always easy to understand or interpret. If you have any questions or concerns about the National Electrical Code, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. These professionals can provide expert advice and guidance on electrical installations and code compliance. They can help you understand the requirements of the National Electrical Code and ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. Working with qualified professionals can provide peace of mind. It is worth the investment to ensure the safety and reliability of your electrical system. The National Electrical Code covers a wide range of electrical topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is important to have a general understanding of these topics to ensure safe and compliant electrical installations. The National Electrical Code also includes specific requirements for different types of occupancies, such as residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. These requirements are tailored to the specific hazards and risks associated with each type of occupancy. For example, the National Electrical Code has stricter requirements for hospitals and healthcare facilities due to the sensitive nature of the equipment and the vulnerability of patients. The National Electrical Code is a living document that is constantly evolving to keep pace with changes in technology and industry practices. The National Electrical Code Committee meets regularly to consider proposed changes and updates to the National Electrical Code. The National Electrical Code Committee is composed of experts from various fields including electrical engineering, electrical contracting, and safety. The National Electrical Code Committee considers a variety of factors when evaluating proposed changes to the National Electrical Code, including safety, cost, and feasibility. The National Electrical Code Committee also solicits public input on proposed changes to the National Electrical Code. The National Electrical Code is published by the National Fire Protection Association, a non-profit organization that develops codes and standards for fire safety. The National Fire Protection Association is a leading source of information and education on fire safety. The National Fire Protection Association also provides training and certification programs for fire safety professionals. The National Electrical Code is widely adopted by states and local jurisdictions throughout the United States. Many states and local jurisdictions adopt the National Electrical Code with amendments to address specific local conditions or concerns. The National Electrical Code is also used as a basis for electrical codes and standards in other countries around the world. The National Electrical Code has a significant impact on the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The National Electrical Code helps to prevent electrical fires, electric shock injuries, and other electrical hazards. The National Electrical Code also helps to ensure that electrical systems are properly installed and maintained. The National Electrical Code is an essential tool for electrical contractors, electricians, and other professionals who work with electrical systems. It is also a valuable resource for homeowners and property owners who want to ensure the safety of their electrical systems. Firstly, always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before working on any electrical circuit. Secondly, use the correct tools and equipment for the job. Thirdly, never work on electrical circuits when you are wet or standing in water. Fourthly, inspect electrical cords and equipment for damage before using them. Fifthly, replace any damaged cords or equipment immediately. Sixthly, never overload electrical circuits. Seventhly, use ground fault circuit interrupters in wet locations. Eighthly, install smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in your home. Ninthly, have your electrical system inspected regularly by a qualified electrician. Tenthly, follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity. Electricity is a powerful force that can be dangerous if not handled properly. By following these safety tips, you can minimize the risk of electrical hazards. The 3-foot rule is a critical safety measure in bathrooms, given the proximity of water and electrical appliances. It serves to prevent accidental contact with live electrical components while a person may be wet, significantly reducing the risk of electrocution. While the exception for countertop receptacles may seem to allow for greater flexibility in receptacle placement, it is important to remember that the intention is to provide a convenient power source for hair dryers and other small appliances, not to create a hazardous situation. The 12-inch height restriction is designed to limit the reach of water spray from the sink or shower. Receptacles installed on countertops or shelves should be located as far away from the water source as possible to further minimize the risk of contact with water. Luminaires and appliances installed on the countertop must also be designed and listed for use in wet locations. This means that they have been tested and certified to withstand exposure to water without creating an electrical hazard. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment used in wet locations be listed for that purpose. Listing is a process by which an independent testing laboratory evaluates a product to ensure that it meets applicable safety standards. Listed equipment is marked with the testing laboratory's logo or symbol, which indicates that it has been tested and certified for its intended use. The National Electrical Code is not intended to be a substitute for proper training and experience. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified electricians who have the necessary knowledge and skills to do the job safely and correctly. Homeowners should not attempt to perform electrical work unless they have the necessary training and experience. DIY electrical work can be dangerous and can lead to serious injuries or even death. It is always best to hire a qualified electrician to perform electrical work. Electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving to keep pace with changes in technology and industry practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest codes and regulations to ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. The National Electrical Code is available for purchase from the National Fire Protection Association website. You can also find information about electrical codes and regulations on the websites of your state and local governments. The National Electrical Code is a complex and comprehensive document, but it is an essential resource for anyone who works with electricity. By understanding the National Electrical Code and following its requirements, you can help to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. If one does the electrical work themselves, then there is an assumption of responsibility on the safety, reliability and compliance to code.